We are not meant to do life alone. We just aren't. Okay. We're humans who are, came from clans or like from groups of people that, back in the caveman day and all the days, they actually community with everything. That's how they stayed alive. Okay. And so it's the same for us now. Okay. We are not meant to do life alone. Welcome to the Balanced Fit and Free podcast. I'm Rayanne Mullins, and this season we're talking about the deeper side of wellness, mental health, emotional patterns, self-awareness, alignment, and what it truly means to live well from the inside out. Because real health isn't about perfection. It's about becoming stronger, more intentional, more authentic, and more free. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Balanced Fit and Free podcast. I'm Rayanne, your host. And like always, I'm super happy that you're here. I want to just ask you a big favor, though. If you hear anything today or in any of the other episodes that are, that resonates with you or is information that you didn't know or you just reminded you of something really good, please share it with your friends, your sisters, your moms, your daughters, everyone. It can be to male too, but I do mostly speak to the women group. But we can share this information with people. So I would just really love it if you wouldn't mind sharing the podcast. Okay. So today we are talking about something kind of basic. Okay. But that's the point. So when life starts to feel complicated, it can actually really start to feel messy. We start overthinking everything, right? Our health, our habits, our relationships, our purpose. Sometimes we don't even know what we like to do anymore. And if you are a menopausal woman, you know what I'm talking about. Some days our brain can feel super chaotic and you might not know, what's up and what's down and who you are anymore. So when this happens, what can we do? What do we usually do? Well, we usually start to try to figure out what's wrong with us. We look for a new plan. We look for a new program, a new strategy, a new doctor, a new person to follow on social media. We Google, we're always looking for an answer. Okay. But what if the problem isn't that you need something new? Okay. Maybe it's not about finding out a new information, right? What if the problem is that you've drifted away from the basics? Today, I want to simplify just everything for you, okay? Because when life feels off, the most powerful thing we can do is come back to our foundation, okay? Just come right back to the very, very basics, okay? So there's a concept in psychology created by Abraham Maslow called the hierarchy of needs. Now, you guys know, if you've been with me for a while, that I'm back in school and there's a lot of psychology because I'm going for clinical mental health counseling. And it's just been so amazing because I was already so interested in psychology and counseling and just inner healing and health that everything I read, I'm just trying to absorb every ounce of it. But this is something that maybe you've already heard of, right? Maslow's hierarchy of need. So it's often shown as a pyramid, okay? And the idea is super simple. There are foundational human needs that must be met before we can truly feel fulfilled, confident, and aligned. And here's the problem though. Most people are trying to build the top of the pyramid without taking care of the bottom or the middle of the pyramid. So today I'm going to walk you through this step by step, and I want you to just listen and notice, where have I been skipping the basics? Okay. So at the very bottom, imagine a pyramid, right? The bottom is bigger than the top and it's, big bottom base. And then it goes up to a little point at the top of the pyramid, right? Three-sided pyramid. Well, at the very bottom of the pyramid, we have our physiological needs, our physical body needs. This is our foundation, okay? So what we're talking about here is we need food, okay? We need food, we need water, we need sleep, and we need movement. Basic human needs. And yet this is where so many women are completely off. we are under eating, we're over caffeinated, we're not sleeping enough, and we're barely moving our bodies in a way that actually supports us. Okay. And then we're wondering why we feel exhausted, why we feel anxious, why we feel stuck or just completely out of control. Okay. You cannot build a strong life on a depleted body. I'm going to say that again. You cannot build a strong, balanced, fit life on a depleted, tired, undernourished body. Okay. And I see it all the time. Women trying to work on mindset, confidence, purpose, but their body is running on fumes. So, of course, nothing feels good, right? Your body isn't the problem. Okay. It's asking for support. Asking for support. Your body is asking you to please fuel me. Please water me. Please put me in some sunshine, just like a plant, right? Water, feed, sun, little rest time. It's really important. Your body is asking you for support. All right. Now, I want to say something here. The reason I feel like we're all under eating is because of these, cultural, like society expectations that we've all been trying to go by. And, I'm guilty too. Like, I'm not saying that you listening to this are the only one doing it. I also fall victim to the expectations of society, our culture, our own personal expectations of ourselves. So what's happening is so many people are under eating, right? But did you know that your brain actually needs calories too? And so many people don't realize that just to do your job or just to get through your day of like being able to follow instructions and do normal everyday things, that our brain actually needs fuel. We need calories, not just for our body, for our workouts and that, but we need it just to function in life. And this is where I get a little frustrated because people are always trying to cut the calories, cut the calories, cut the calories. And then they're like, oh, but now I need to work out harder. And I'm like, no, it just doesn't work like that. Like if you go too low in calories, but yet you're still trying to build up like this strong body, there's a huge disconnect there. Okay. So undernourishing your body is not going to help you be fit and strong. Undernourishing your body is not going to help you be a smart, logical, creative creature either. So we've got to, and this isn't a nutrition talk today, but we've got to figure out how to get away from the eat less, move more, shrink your body mentality into what keeps me strong and capable. Well, you know what keeps you strong and capable? Food, water, sleep, movement. They're all super important, but we don't want to prioritize one over the other. They really need to be balanced, okay? All right, so that was like the base of the pyramid is your physical body needs. You got to eat, okay? You got to move your body. You got to be hydrated, all those great things. All right, now the next level up is safety needs, okay? Safety. And this is where I want you to really lean in, okay? Maybe you need to go back to that basic foundation of the physiological needs. Maybe that's where you need to stay first. But I want you to hear all of these and then see where you need to like work a little bit more, okay? But hear me out on this one. Okay, so this next level is safety, okay? And the reason I want you to lean in and really listen to this one is because it's not just about our physical safety. Of course, that's super important. This is about emotional safety, internal safety, nervous system safety. If your body doesn't feel safe, you will not feel calm, consistent, or ever in control, okay? You will feel reactive, overwhelmed, stuck in patterns that you just can't seem to break, okay? And one of those patterns might be, on and off diets, or starting and stopping workout routines, or having a hard time with relationships, or, like just having a hard time like keeping friends or partners, or maybe it's hard for you to find a job that you can really stick with. So this isn't just about your physical health. It's about your emotional health, which also relates to relationships and just safety internally, okay? This is why I love breath work so much, because you can't think your way into safety, all right? You have to feel your way into it. A dysregulated nervous system will override even the best intentions, okay? So you can have the perfect plan, but if your body feels stressed, unsafe, or constantly on edge, like you're just waiting for something to happen, you will self-sabotage that plan every single time. And it's not because you're broken or you can't follow a plan or you're not smart. That's not true. It's because your body is trying to protect you. Okay, if your body doesn't feel safe, it's going to be really hard to follow a plan, to follow a program, to have a good relationship, to have a good job. Okay, so you've got to feel safety in your body. All right. So now we're moving up the pyramid another level, and this is love and belonging. Okay, connection, relationships, community, and this is a huge one. Okay, because we are not meant to do life alone. We just aren't. Okay, we're humans who are, came from clans or like from groups of people that, back in the caveman day and all the days, they actually community was everything. That's how they stayed alive. Okay. And so it's the same for us now. Okay. We are not meant to do life alone. But so many women are trying to fix themselves in isolation. Okay. They're struggling quietly, holding everything in, trying to be strong all the time. Hey, ladies, I'm just going to interrupt for a moment. If you've been saying to yourself, I know I need to strength train, but I just can't stay consistent, or I'm not really sure what to do. Well, I created the Balanced Fit and Free Strength membership for people just like you. We meet live 3 mornings a week on Zoom for a simple and effective workout that helps you progressively get stronger, because random workouts just aren't working. You'll get guidance, accountability, breathwork, coaching, and a supportive community of women all working toward feeling stronger physically and mentally. We have live and replay only memberships available. You can check the show notes for the link to learn more. Now back to the show. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you being strong isn't like a wonderful thing. I really do believe in strength in all ways, but it's important to also be supported. And the more supported you are, the stronger you will be. Okay. So also not just being supported, but being seen, being heard, being understood is super duper important. Okay. Healing does not happen in isolation. It really doesn't. Healing happens in connection. Okay. And this is why community really matters so much, whether that's a friendship, group of friends, your family, or even being part of something like a group coaching space. Okay. That's why I love group coaching so much. I have the Nourish program, which is going to have a new name, by the way, coming out soon. I have the strength training membership. Even when I finish with my counseling degree, I'm going to be offering group counseling because I really believe that we can heal when we're in groups. It's great to share our strengths, our weaknesses, our worries, because then we find out that we're not alone. And when you don't feel alone, then there's always more hope. Okay. And without hope, life can feel really, really tough. Okay. So to help you find that hope, you need people. Okay. We all need people. We need connection. All right. So we had the bottom of the pyramid is the physiological needs, right? And then we have the safety, and then we have love and belonging. All right. Now, next up is esteem. Okay, this is confidence. It's self-worth. It's feeling capable. It's feeling proud of who you are. And this is where a lot of women are focused. Okay, I just want to feel confident. Awesome. And I want you to feel confident. Or they might say, I just want to feel good in my body. But here's where it gets a little tricky, right? A lot of people are trying to build their confidence through external things. Okay, weight loss, appearance, validation, approval. And those things might give you a temporary boost, but they don't create lasting self-worth. They just don't. Real confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself, okay? It comes from showing up day after day, from doing hard things, and from building strength mentally and physically. Confidence isn't something that you find, it's something that you build, and you build it for you, not for your family, not for your kids, not for your Instagram following, for you. And the sooner you discover that this whole life is for you first, the easier it becomes. And the more you can work on, wait, does this feel good to me? Does this make me feel good? Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? The sooner you realize it does matter what you think and not what everyone else thinks, the better you will feel, the more confident, the stronger you will become. Okay? Then we're moving up again into self-actualization. It's the very, very top. Okay? This is where you step into your purpose. Okay? This is where you become your most authentic self. This is where you stop living on autopilot, right? We've talked about that. And this is where you start living intentionally. And this is where so many people want to be, right? Doesn't it sound great just to feel super clear, confident, happy, doing exactly what you want to do? Why wouldn't we want to be there, right? People want clarity, purpose, alignment. But again, you cannot fully step into this level if the levels below it are unstable. If your body's depleted, if your nervous system is overwhelmed, if you feel disconnected, if your self-worth is shaky, it's going to be really hard to feel aligned and purposeful. You don't become someone new, right? The goal is not to be like the new me. Remember all the times being like, new year, new me. I even had a program called that. Sorry. I went with the marketing gimmicks because I knew that people would listen. If I said, hey, come join me to be your true self. You know how many programs sell that way? They don't. But if you say, new year, new me, it's like amazing how many people flock to it. I don't love that, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes when you have a business. But what the deal is, it's not about becoming someone new, right? You return to who you've always been without all the noise, without all the pressure, and without all of the survival patterns. That's the goal, right? So take a moment and think about it, right? Think about your life right now. Is there anywhere that you feel off? Think of all the categories of your life, your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, your relationships, your career, your hobbies, all of these areas, right? If something feels off in your life right now, I don't want your first thought to be, I need a new plan. No, that's not what I want you to think. Okay, instead, I want you to ask yourself, what need is not being met right now? Okay, am I taking care of my body? Are you eating enough? Are you drinking enough water? Are you drinking too much coffee and you need to switch up to some water? Are you getting to bed or are you watching too many episodes of The Pit? That was me last night. Or, are you doing enough stretching? Are you taking care of your tendons, ligaments, and joints? Or are you only lifting weights and ignoring your flexibility? Like, really ask yourself if you're taking care of your body, okay? And this isn't about being perfect. It's not about being like hitting your macros or like X amount of exercise, but just truly, honestly ask yourself, am I doing the best I can with taking care of my physiological needs, okay? Right? And then you can ask yourself, do I feel safe in my body? Do you know what I mean by that even? Like when you can close your eyes and take a deep breath and actually feel safe. Like truly like you're able to settle down and feel like you're okay. Like you're not stressed, you're not worried, your mind isn't like freaking out. Or opposite, if you can't even like notice your emotions, that's not safety. Okay? So do you feel safe in your body? Another question would be like, do I feel connected? Do I have community? Do I have somebody to talk to? Do I, have friends? Do I have acquaintances? Am I alone all the time? Okay, ask yourself those questions. And then you can say, do I trust myself? Like when I need to make a decision in my life, do I trust myself to make a decision? Or do I always look to others to make the decision for me? Okay, or do I trust myself in the choices I'm making right now in my health, in my career, in my relationships, in my home? Do I decorate my house the way I want, or do I decorate it the way other people expect it? I mean, it's small things like that. Like the way you decorate your house. I mean, it's not that small, but technically in this grand scheme of things, the decorations in your house aren't that big of a deal, right? But if you're not even doing that for yourself, then maybe you don't trust yourself, okay? And then you can ask yourself, am I living in alignment? Like, are you truly living in alignment with your core values? Like, what is most important to you? And then ask yourself, are your actions aligning with what is most important to you? So if you say to me, the most important thing in my life is my family, but you have not spoken to your family in months, then I either question that maybe they aren't your top priority, or maybe they are, but your actions aren't aligning with how you feel. And then how do they know? If you don't reach out and you don't talk to them, then maybe they don't know that they are your top priority, right? So this goes into relationships and communication and that connection that we talked about. Okay? So your behaviors are always trying to meet a need. Okay? So even the behaviors or patterns or actions that you're frustrated with, for example, emotional eating, maybe overworking, like maybe you never get out of work on time. You stay an hour or two later and then you're exhausted, right? Other examples would be like checking out, like just totally zoning out, looking at Instagram, watching TV, just kind of like avoiding life. The other thing that could be not a helpful pattern is starting and stopping, starting exercise and then stopping when it's not perfect, or starting a diet and then stopping because you ran out of groceries. Like, this starting, stopping, checking out, overworking, emotional eating, they're all signals, right? Those aren't random. They're all signals, okay, that you need to check into your basic human needs. Okay, so before you try to do more, before you try to be better, before you try to fix anything, come back to these basics. Because when your foundation is solid, everything else becomes so much easier, okay? And if you're listening to this and thinking, I don't actually feel safe in my body, or I don't even really know what you mean by that because I've never thought about it before. Or if you're feeling like completely disconnected from yourself, that's exactly why I do the work that I do. Okay. So whether it's through breath work, through the strength training, or just through life coaching, my goal is to help you rebuild that foundation from the inside out. So if you have wondered like how you can work with me, I'm not taking very many one-on-one clients now just because I'm really focusing on getting through grad school. But I am doing monthly online group breathwork sessions. So just check my Instagram or Facebook for information about that, or even my website. And then I am going to be bringing out the Nourish program again soon. So if you haven't already seen that, check it out. I also have kind of a do-it-yourself version where you can just read the lessons on your own and then get help when you need it. So there are definitely options to work with me if you need that support, if you need that connection. And, in a not so far away future, I'll be able to take on counseling clients as well. So I'm super excited. Thank you for being here. Make sure you take a moment to think about these different layers of this hierarchy of human needs and see where maybe you need to spend some time working. But remember, I want you to start at the bottom of the pyramid, okay? Get the physiological needs met, okay? That doesn't mean that you have to be on some perfect plan. That doesn't mean you have to weigh a certain thing. It just means, are you meeting your basic needs? Are you fueling your body enough? Are you drinking water? Are you moving, okay? And then you can move up to each level. So in the show notes, I have them listed out so that you can, if you need to, go back and check it, journal about it, and then send me a message and let me know how you're doing with your basic human needs. Thanks again for being here. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to the Balanced, Fit, and Free podcast. I hope this episode helped you feel a little more aware, aligned, and supported on your wellness journey. Remember, true health isn't about perfection. It's about living in alignment with yourself and creating a life that feels balanced, grounded, and free. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, share this episode, and I will see you next time.